Everyone knows that teens spend every waking moment of their lives glued to their cell phones. Social media have become a vital element of most people's daily lives as they provide a safe space where they can express themselves. The problem begins when this leads to excessive sharing. How often do we read about people who will stop at nothing to make an impression on their social media followers, risking their lives with silly little challenges that can cause them or others severe harm just for the sake of gaining followers? Today's case deals with a troubled teen who decided to live stream what she shouldn't and cause her family a terrible loss beyond consolation.
The young woman who shocked the nation by live streaming a drunk driving car crash that killed her kid's sister is back in court facing new felony charges after a police chase. In 2017, Obdulia Sanchez was driving her 14-year-old sister Jacqueline near Fresno, California. After she crashed, she kept live streaming the gruesome footage, even showing her sister's lifeless body, which is too disturbing for television.
Hey guys, welcome back to Crimeco, your go-to channel for some intriguing and incredible true crime stories. Before we continue with today's case, remember to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. Help this true crime community grow even more, so buckle up and get ready to go on a wild ride with us. Obdulia Sanchez lived with her parents, Gloria and Nicandro Sanchez, plus 3 siblings, Jacqueline, Eveline, and Nicandro Jr. in Stockton, California. But at some point in her childhood, she went into foster care for a while, and from then on, everything got worse for her. At the age of 11, she was abused, and when she was 13, she was kidnapped and tortured. And what's worse, she was even involved in human trafficking. During that time, she was forced against her will to drink alcohol and use illegal substances, which made her completely dependent on them. It is believed that these heartbreaking circumstances had something to do with what happened on that fateful July 21, 2017. At the time of the events, Sanchez was 18 years old and had just finished high school, while her sister Jacqueline had just finished the 10th grade and was only 14 years old. People who knew Jacqueline said that she was a brilliant girl with a promising future. She dreamed of seeing the whole world and thriving as a singer or actress. And like lots of girls her age, Jacqueline spent many hours on social media, especially Instagram. That's where she met her 14-year-old friend, Manuela Silla. When this dreadful event happened, they had been dating for about 7 months. On Friday night, Sanchez and Jacqueline drove from Stockton to Fresno to pick up Manuela Silla and bring her back to the sister's house. Jacqueline was turning 15 and was completely over the moon about her quinceañera party, which was taking place that weekend. Unfortunately, Jacqueline never made it. Sanchez was driving on a highway in Los Banos, California, around 6:40 p.m. while live streaming on Instagram. The video shows her driving her car while she cheerfully raps along with the music. Jacqueline and Manuela are sitting next to each other in the back seat. They have no idea what is about to happen. Suddenly, Sanchez took her hands off the wheel, which made the car go off the road. But when she tried to turn it back, it crossed lanes, crashed through a barbed wire fence, and rolled over in a field. In the footage, you can hear screaming and the sound of metal tearing as Jacqueline and Manuela, who weren't wearing their seatbelts, were thrown out of the car as it flipped over. A few seconds later, you hear Sanchez calling Jacqueline's name. Then she comes into view and talks to the camera, but what she did next got people completely off guard. She points the camera at her sister, covered in blood and lying in the grass. The whole scene looked like something straight out of a horror movie. In the footage, we can also hear Sanchez admitting what she has done. "I'd even killed my sister. I know I'm going to jail for life. All right, I understand that. This is the last thing I wanted to happen, okay? All right? I don't even care at all. I'll hold it down." The disturbing video ends with Sanchez kneeling next to her sister's dead body and saying, "I'm even sorry, baby. I didn't mean to kill you, sweetie." How Sanchez had the guts to film that entire situation is beyond understanding. When the emergency services got there, Jacqueline was already dead and had a large wound on her head, while Manuela was badly injured in her legs. Sanchez claimed her chest and right knee were hurting. The police stated that when they tried to put her in an ambulance, she was screaming hysterically and trying to fight with them. So they detained her because they assumed she was driving while intoxicated. During the investigation, the police found out that Sanchez had posted another video to her Instagram story just minutes before the crash that showed her driving recklessly. In the video, she almost hits a minivan that was crossing in front of her and Jacqueline, who was with her at the time. She was sitting in the front passenger seat and making dramatic hand gestures while yelling, "You're going to kill me," and sadly, that's how everything unfolded. Thousands of people saw the video after one of her followers saved it and posted it on Facebook. After that, the video was shared on several other social media platforms, like Twitter and LiveLeak, which helped the video spread like wildfire. Sooner than later, the footage made its way to Sanchez's family. Evelyn, the 12-year-old little sister, was the first to see the horrifying video and her sister's dead body. Clearly disturbed by what she had just seen, she went crying to her parents to tell them what had happened. The parents then called the police, who informed them of what they already thought was likely. One of their precious daughters would not be coming home to dance with her father at her quinceañera. Let's take a break to unfold the last piece of information. Obdulia and Jacqueline Sanchez's family found out first, through social media, that they had been in a car accident and that only one of them made it out alive. But tragedy doesn't stop there. The family also discovered that it was all because of Obdulia's recklessness that there was an accident in the first place, and that she even went as far as to continue live streaming after that and show thousands of people her dying sister. There are no words to describe how gruesome and messed up that situation was for everyone involved. Let's also take a minute to get a better grasp of how social media works. Not even the police got to do their job and inform the family about the events that they already knew. That's how fast information travels on social media, and that's precisely why people should be more careful about what they share on their profiles. When the family found out that Sanchez was being blamed for her sister's death, they were even more distressed. However, even though they were mourning Jacqueline, they stood up for her, stating that it was just an accident and there was nothing she could have done. Manuela, who was dealing with her leg injuries and a broken heart from losing Jacqueline, said that Sanchez isn't to blame for what happened, but social media is. She stated, "Honestly, I'm not mad at anybody, and I don't blame anybody. It's all affected by social media. That's what life is now. And it's going to advance more and more. That's what it's all going to be about." Still, the police found that Sanchez's blood alcohol level was higher than the legal limit and that she had traces of illegal drugs in her body. She was charged with driving drunk and killing someone with her car, as well as driving under the influence and putting a child in danger, since Jacqueline and Manuela were still minors at the time of the accident. She pleaded not guilty to the charges, and her lawyer added that even though Sanchez said in the video that she killed her sister, it wasn't clear if a crime had been committed. He also mentioned that Sanchez felt awful and that she was a complete wreck about the whole situation. He then talked about Sanchez's childhood and said that no one could judge her because they didn't know what she had to overcome. She was a young woman who had gone through more hardships than anyone else, which had taken a toll on her for the rest of her life. Sanchez was arrested and booked at the Merced County Jail. Her bail was set at $560,000, and although her lawyer tried to reduce it, the judge quickly rejected it. She was charged with 1 count of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, an alternative count of gross vehicular manslaughter, 2 counts of driving under the influence resulting in injury, and 2 counts of driving with a 0.8% blood alcohol content causing injury. The 4 vehicle code violations were also met with great bodily injury allegations. At her first court hearing, she looked almost unbothered by the whole situation. She seemed to be completely detached from the world around her, and she even admitted that she didn't fully understand the charges against her. It had only been a few days after an event that shocked the whole country and blew up the internet, but Sanchez didn't seem to care at all, even though it was her actions that had led to the death of her own sister. After hearing all the charges, she pleaded not guilty to all of them. If proven guilty, Sanchez would face a total of 13 years and 8 months in prison. That's a lot for such a younger teen who had just graduated high school. But before the case could go to trial, Sanchez changed her plea to no contest. In a phone interview with a reporter, she said that she didn't realize that the video made her look like a monster. She said that her sister was her best friend and that it made her very sad that she had died. Surprisingly, she also revealed that she made that video because she knew that her Instagram account had more than 5,000 followers. Because her family isn't wealthy, she reasoned, it was the only way to ensure her sister was properly buried. "I thought people would give me money," was one of the last statements she gave to the reporter. At court, she could be seen bursting into tears when the video was played during her sentencing hearing. The prosecutor stated that the things she said in the video showed that she didn't care that she killed her sister. But her lawyer objected, claiming that her behavior and what she said were just a cry for help, and that she didn't really mean it. Later on, when she was given a chance to talk, she read an emotional letter in which she said she was sorry and that even though she didn't want to go to prison, she deserved it. In the same letter, she asked her parents for forgiveness and blurted out that she was sick of hurting the people she cared about. On February 9, 2018, Sanchez was sentenced to 6 years and 4 months in prison. Even though her parents and the defense lawyer asked for probation, Sanchez would still have the chance to be released on parole. And that's exactly what happened. After only serving a little over 2 years of her sentence, she was released early on parole in September 2019. It seems that she earned credit for good behavior and going to rehab programs. But unfortunately, those programs and that good girl behavior were just for show. People would think that after being imprisoned, one would learn their lesson. Once they got out, it would find ways to improve their lives. But Sanchez didn't learn anything, and she was arrested again less than a month later for, get this, leading the police on a car chase. Stockton police stated that they tried to stop her because her registration was expired, but she ran 2 stop signs and a red light and led them on a chase. She went off the road near the March Lane on-ramp to I-5, and the man in the passenger seat got out of the car and ran onto the freeway. The police found a loaded gun in the car, which compromised Sanchez's situation. Her erratic behavior was raising all kinds of red flags. She had just gotten out of jail on parole, and yet she managed to get herself into trouble again. Perhaps it's true when people say that you can't help those who don't want to get help. Sanchez was arrested for driving with a license that had expired, breaking his parole, and carrying a loaded gun. When she went to court, she looked nothing like the innocent, crying teenager who had begged for forgiveness 2 years before. She even got a tattoo of her sister's name on her neck and looked like she didn't really care what happened to her, just like when she was first arrested for her sister's death. It seemed that she just didn't care anymore about anything. Even though this was Sanchez's second strike with the law, her father still supported her through all of her court hearings. He claimed that his daughter needed help more than prison since she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Sometimes for some people, even all the therapy in the world can't save them from themselves, which appears to be the case with this young lady. Well, folks, that's all for today. Thank you for staying all the way up to the end of this video. If you're down for this type of content, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll also love to know what you think about our content, so leave a comment and tell us all about it. See you next time.